Alright, well I am fresh out of the shower after coming back from Retro World Expo 2021. I spent the weekend there. I live fairly close, so I was able to go back and forth. It's nice because having a con in your own home state means that you can, you can do things like go home and take care of your kids, or just sleep in your own bed, and especially post-pandemic or during pandemic or whatever this is right now, it's nice to just be able to go back to your own home and not have to worry about things like that. But this convention was special because it was the very first convention back, doing conventions again. At least for me personally, I know other people have been doing conventions, so today's video is just gonna be my pickups, my experiences, what went down, how things were, and just, in general about Retro World Expo. So I got there Saturday morning, and it was after the event had already started. I, had other stuff going on, so I needed to take care of that, and I showed up. And, just kind of immediately hit the floor. I had a friend of mine, two friends of mine that were doing a booth, like they were selling stuff, games, toys. Their website is, it's like Blueberry Cat. Actually, you know what? I have their sticker, because they gave me stickers. Blueberry Cat is the name of their store. I believe they do sell stuff online as well. So yeah, those are really good buddies of mine. Actually, hold on, their website is blueberry-cat.com, like a dash. So go check it out if you want toys and games and stuff like that. They had a really cool booth set up. It was like, they did like a tent, which was unique, and they had like Chinese lanterns like all around. And then they had like bowling, like the bowling fabric, like you would see on the carpet, like they had that all the way around. So it was a really cool way just to kind of start things off. So I ended up buying a couple things there. So one of the things I bought was a game and manual, and the manual specifically was for Mickey's Dangerous Chase. I bought the game as well, but I already owned it, and I knew I owned it, but I wanted to send it to one of my Patreon members. I do this thing where for $15 on my Patreon tier, you can have me send you games, basically, like I go game hunting for you. So this was a prime opportunity for me to go check out some things, pick up some games, and send them out to people. So I got a bunch of stuff. Well, I'm not going to show that here because a lot of it's all secret, but this is the one thing I will talk about that I am going to send to a Patreon member. So I'm keeping this just because I don't have the manual for this game. And it's a really fun, like Chippendale's Rescue Rangers game. So if you've played Rescue Rangers on the NES, it's pretty much the same game, but with Mickey. And it's different. Like, the levels are different. Everything's different. I think you can actually switch back and forth between Mickey and Minnie, which is really cool. But yeah, so that I picked up for $5. I got the game and the manual for $5, which is a steal. So I consider that a win. So I'm walking around and I bump into Ed from the VG Embassy, which is a fellow VGM podcast website, my old buddy from Pixel Tunes Radio, Ed. And so bumped into him and my co-host Justin. We had a panel at 2. So we just kind of decided to walk around and just see the sights together. So we walked around, went to a bunch of different booths, and, commented on the ridiculous prices. I mean, like, I thought prices were pretty out there back in 2019. But being back at this con, there were some things that were so expensive. Like, boxes and complete games specifically skyrocketed. Like, thousands of dollars for complete in-box games that were like maybe $500, $600 before the pandemic. So it was a real kind of eye-opener to seeing these prices in a convention setting. And yes, they're inflated, but like at the same time, it was like, wow. I was tempted to buy like a higher ticket item, but like everything I wanted was like so expensive. So I was just like, if I'm gonna buy something, I'm just gonna keep it cheap and keep it simple. So I went with the intention of finding one game this entire thing. And I'll get into that game in just a little bit, but it's basically to complete a box and manual that I already had. I had the box and manual, but not the game. But anyways, we're going around and I found a booth that had a bunch of strategy guides. Now you know me, I love me some strategy guides. And there's this one that I found that has been kind of like, I've been really struggling to find this one and just haven't had the ability to do so. And when I do find it, it's in poor condition. And that guide is for Fear Effect Retro Helix, which is Fear Effect 2 on the PS1. So no, I didn't pay $14.99 for it, but I believe I paid $23. But the thing is, this is a mint copy, mint. The guy I think initially wanted like 30. I think he said he wanted 30, and I was like, listen, I've been looking for this guide for a while. Can you do 23? I think I said 23, and he was like, yeah, sure, I could do 23. So yeah, pretty cool. I noticed a lot of vendors like just didn't have prices. Like a lot of vendors now were just like, I'm just gonna look it up. Like I'll just look it up. Okay, great. So price charting is what you're going based on. Which I'm like, I don't know, like, to me, if I'm gonna do business with somebody, like I wanna know upfront what they're offering. I don't want them to just get, it's such a turnoff to see a vendor run to video game price charting or eBay or whatever, just to find out how much stuff is. Like, why don't you do all this stuff ahead of time? But I get it, people are busy, like whatever, but it's just kind of a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, listen, if you're going to sell at a convention, like, if it was me, I would want prices smack dab like right there on the thing. So, but that's me. That's just me talking as a buyer. I found this booth that had some stuff that I was looking for. One thing I really wanted, and then the other two I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So that's kind of cool is 2 magazines, and as you guys may or may not know, I collect PSM magazines, specifically the older ones. I tend to not do too many of the like PS2 era or PS3 era, but this one just kind of caught my eye, mostly for the swimsuit special, I'm not gonna lie to you. But Legacy of Kain, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, SSX3, all in bathing suits. Just, I can't wait. No, it's cool. It was nice to see this. I like the cheeky throwbacks that they did to the older PSM issues, and it was the issues were $4 each. So I was like, you know what? I don't recall seeing this anywhere, so I'm gonna pick it up. So I did. I also picked up this issue of Nintendo Power for $4, same booth. And what's cool is my buddy Lucius Showcase talked about this issue fairly recently. He did a video a little while back where he talked about memory card stickers. And I remembered it, and I was like, this issue looks familiar. And turns out they had the memory card stickers. So I think I'm gonna use them. I think I might use the Killer Instinct ones on my memory cards. There's also a calendar in here, like a Mario Kart 64 calendar, which is pretty neat. I mean, it's outdated, obviously, but that's kind of cool. I don't know, it was just a cool issue that I thought was kind of neat. And, I semi-collect these, so to speak. Like, I pick them up if they're cheap and if I can find them and if it's something that interests me. And I never had this issue back in the day, so it's, I thought it was a good purchase. That same booth had boxed, like just loose boxes for Super NES games. And yeah, most of them were just sports games, but I found something in there that I've been looking for a while. And that was for a game called Ultraman. Now this is just my copy. I've had it forever and ever and ever. I think I've talked about this in a previous video, Ultraman. Actually, I think I reviewed it. I think I did like a brief review, if I recall. I'll post the link down below or somewhere if I did. I really can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, super nostalgic for this one. It was literally the only game that I ever played with my dad. So like, I just have weird nostalgic memories for it. So I found a box for it, and it's in pretty good shape. And I paid, I'm trying to remember, I want to say 16 for everything, because it was 4, and then I think 12. Yeah, I think. It was either 16 or 18 that I paid for all of that. So the 2 issues and then this box. But yeah, the box is in mostly good shape. I still need to get a cardboard protector for it on the inside. I don't have a manual for it, so it's not complete. I'm gonna have to see if I can hunt down a manual for cheap, which probably won't happen until the next convention. Sometime next year, which the way things are going might honestly be Retro World 2022. But you know what? I'm gonna get a cardboard case for it, you know, like the cardboard insert, but for right now, it feels really good to be able to put a game in a box, put a box on a shelf. So yeah, let's keep it going with boxes and completing games. I got this game way back when called Cybernator, and man, this thing is in kind of rough shape now that I look at it. I think I tried to clean it. You know, these void stickers that they used to put on games, I don't know. I'll have to do a new repair and try to clean this one, try to figure out the best way to clean void stickers. I know a lot of rental places did this. I don't know why, but this might be a good noob repair. Anyways, so I have had the game and the manual for quite some time. The manual I think I picked up at a convention as well, and I've had these 2. I've been collecting manuals. I have like a little pack of manuals that if I find a game that like intrigues me, that I may want to know how to play it a little bit more, I may just want, I think the manual is really cool. The art is awesome. I've had game, I've had manual, I haven't had box until I found a kind of beat up, but still in pretty good shape box. This is just kind of meh. The frustrating thing, my buddy Justin from XVGM told me about, I told him, hey, I'm just looking for boxes. Like if you see any sellers that are just selling boxes, let me know, like keep an eye out for me. So he hit me up with a text. He's like, hey, this vendor over here is selling boxes. I'm like, cool. So I go over to him. They've got all these boxes with these little stickers on them, right? Look at that, right? Every single box had a sticker. I'm like, cool. So I'm going through all the boxes, and I find this one, and I see 10, and I'm like, ooh, okay. That's, I think, a good deal. I'm so out of touch with prices now for especially boxes. But I was like, hey, $10 for this box? Sure, I'll buy that. So I bring it up to him, and he goes, 20. I'm like, that's not what the price says. And I was even gonna haggle, because I always haggle. I'm like, 20? Really? He's like, yeah, 20. I'm like, but the box says 10. He's like, oh, well, that's like a $70 box. I'm like, well, first off, it's not $70 condition. And second off, if you label boxes with prices and then you don't abide by those prices, you're a terrible seller. So I just was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight with this guy and try to get 10. I was like, 20 is still a really good deal. I mean, it did have some damage on the UPC barcode, but I wanted to complete this one just because I've had the manual. It wasn't even like one of those games that I was really going for, you know, to try to collect, complete, and box. I really try to only complete stuff that I'm really genuinely interested in completing. You know, I don't try to complete everything with complete and box. So this was one of those things where I was like, you know what? It's just smarter for me to just say whatever. So now I get to complete it. And again, same thing with this game as with the other. I need a cardboard insert, so I'm hoping to get one of those, get a couple of them. So yeah, feels good to complete another Super NES game. It's just so satisfying, so fulfilling to be able to complete another game. And I've got a couple more here that I'm going to show you that I think are going to be pretty exciting. Spider-Man 2 on the Game Boy Color. Now this one's a lot more obscure, and not a lot of people talk about these Game Boy games for Spider-Man, mostly because the earlier ones for regular Game Boy had such a bad reputation that people just think naturally that, oh, it's a licensed Spider-Man game on the Game Boy, so it probably sucks. But Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 and the game I reviewed on Game Boy Advance, Mysterio's Menace, are great games. They're really fun, awesome, action-packed with, oh my god, amazing music by Manfred Linzner. So he did the soundtrack on this one, and I popped it in last night just to try it out, and dude, it's a lot of fun. Great gameplay. You know, it's basically the story from the cartoon. You know that episode of the 90s cartoon where they have all the enemies are together, like the Sinister Six, that's what subtitled is, the Sinister Six. They all get together and they're like, hey, Peter Parker's always taking pictures of Spider-Man, so let's go kidnap him. So they go to his house and Aunt May's there, so they're like, good enough, and they kidnap Aunt May. So it's literally that episode, but that's the plot of this game. So yeah, animation's cool on it, great graphics, so I would pick it up if you see it. I got it so it was 12. I asked for 10, he said cool, so I got a pretty good deal on that one, especially since it's a lot more rare, you really don't see it that often. So again, I'm continuing to search around to see what I can find, and I head over to a vendor that I've actually purchased from before. They're Guerrilla Games, and it's a really cool card. But yeah, Guerrilla Games, their website is, let's see, www.guerrillagamesnh.com. I think they're from New Hampshire, hence the NH. Anyways, I have purchased from these guys before. They mostly do like reproduction cards, like English translation reproductions. And this one was just too good to pass up. You know, there was a lot of RPGs, a lot of Super Nintendo, a lot of Genesis stuff. I grabbed Snow Brothers, Nick and Tom, and you know, it's got a box. And you know, the thing about these guys is that they do really high quality repros. Like the art on the insert is really top notch. The cart itself, I believe, is like, this is my only complaint about this vendor is I think they use old Genesis carts, like from, you know, olden times, like, you know, crap games, you know, and I think they take those, they gut them, and then they, you know, so it's kind of unfortunate that they do that, if that is what they do. I mean, these got the Sega logo right on it, so these are, I'm thinking that's what they do. But anyways, regardless, you know, this is great art right here. This game, Snow Brothers, has some additional content that the NES version and the arcade versions don't have. Specifically, it has a more in-depth story, some additional levels, and I think you can play as the princesses as well, if I recall. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I think once you beat the game, if you save the princesses, you could play as them, or there's a code to play as them, something like that. I see this game loose, but it's got the slot missing from the top or the side of the cart from China all the time on eBay. And to see a high quality repro like this, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. So it was 30, and I was happy to pay 30. I'm of the mindset that it took time to make the game, to put it all together, to, you know, it's got to sell it. So I generally don't pay more than 30 bucks for repros. So, and I don't own that many repros. I thought it was a good deal. All right, so I went and did the panel, had a great time. The XVGM radio panel was a lot of fun. We did NES and Famicom games versus Famicom Disk System games, because the Famicom Disk System has an extra sound channel. And so it was really cool to explore that with Justin. And I think, you know, we had a pretty good crowd. We had maybe about 20 or so people, and it was pretty rocking. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we were able to do it. And yeah, so we did record the audio. It'll be up on our Patreon as like a bonus episode. It'll be up probably sometime in November. So if you're not a subscriber to the XVGM Radio Patreon, check it out. It's just patreon.com/XVGM Radio. Anyways, so this game, I've had the box and manual for a very short amount of time. I lucked out and got a okay conditioned copy of the game. You know, the US release. You could find them all over the place online, but you know, they sell for like $100, like over $100. And so this one's not in the best of shape, but it does have the manual. Whoa. But it does have the manual. And it's, you know, the box is a little beat up on the sides here, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape. So my thought process is, hey, just put it in a box protector, because this one is a lot more obscure. And you know, I've watched the anime for this, and I've played the first game on PS1, and it's okay. And I've played this one before, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool fighting game, that was translated to like chibi form for the game. So my one mission for this entire convention this time around was to find the game, and I found it. I found a really clean copy of it, and it's in pretty good shape. Now these tend to go for like maybe about $17 to $18 right around, like for like okay copies. So the guy had the sticker on here for 30 bucks, and I'm like, I just sighed after, and I did explain it to him. I was like, yeah, I just bought the box and manual for him, looking to complete it. And I was like, this is the one game that I came here for. And he was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah, it's 30. I'm like, I just sighed. And I'm like, all right, here we go with haggling. And he actually, like, I didn't say that, but he actually could see like the desperation in my eyes. Like, I really don't want to haggle this down to a price that's more fitting to what I want to pay. But he just saw it and he was like, all right, you know what? I'll give it to you for 20. So I was like, 20? You got yourself a deal. It's a good label. It's a good copy of the game. And I went and played a little bit of it last night when I got home. And it's a fun little game, just as I remember it. It's a pretty competent fighter on the Game Boy. So, complete another game. I'm gonna pop it in a box protector just to keep it a little bit more secure, so that the box stays not as bent. So I'm really, really happy with completing another game. All right, let's move into Sunday. So Saturday night was great. Everything was awesome. We ate at a local barbecue place. It was just fantastic food. I was so full. The food was so good. And you know, I bumped into a ton of people that I hadn't seen in over 2 years. It was a great time Saturday. Sunday was a lot less packed. There were a lot less people, and I showed up actually a little earlier this time around. I showed up at around just before 11 o'clock, I think. And you know, I was gonna hold off on doing a bunch of shopping, but I said, you know what, I better get my shopping in now because I got a panel at 2 with Russ Lyman. We did retro repair. We didn't record it or anything. It was just an exclusive to the panel. So if you were there, you saw it. If you weren't, sorry. But I was walking around. I found a couple bins with some discounted games, and I was like, you know what? Perfect opportunity to grab some games for the Patreon, so that way we can find some neat games. So I grabbed a couple games for that. But then I found this, and it was $1. And I said, how could I say no to $1? Uncharted 4. I have not played any of these games, but I own the 1 through 3 collection and 4, which I think I paid $5 for way back in the day. Yeah, so $1. I was like, you're giving this away, basically. So I picked it up, and we'll see. You know, maybe I need it, maybe I don't. If I need to sell it later, I'm gonna sell it for, you know, even if I sell it for $2, I still made $1. So I just figured, why not? I'll grab it. Anyways, I'm walking around the venue, and there was this booth that had a bunch of Final Fantasy VII stuff. They had a Sephiroth wall scroll from way back in the day, not the rip-off ones, but like the official ones. I used to have a Tifa one, like way back in the day. I don't know what happened to it. I think it broke or got damaged or something like that. And they just had so much cool stuff, but like specifically they had a lot of really cool Final Fantasy VII stuff, a lot of which I already had. But the one thing that they had, which really caught my eye, and like I must have talked to death about this thing. So many people must have been annoyed by how many times this conversation came up during chatter. But I got a Tifa Lockhart. This is a keychain from way back in the day. Now, here's the funny thing. I already owned one. But it was hanging in my... I've had it hanging up in my car for like 15 years. Like, you know, I've had 2 cars, you know, in the past, 2 total cars in the past 15 years. And this was the one that I was like, I had this hanging up, and it's so sun faded. Like, her skin is sun faded, the shirt, the hair, everything is really sun faded. So the opportunity to grab another one and put it in my Tifa shrine was just like too much. Like, I was like, yeah, I gotta get this no matter what it is. I lucked out. It was $10. Probably can't see, but yeah, $10. And I ended up whittling that down to 7. The guy was like, if you can get it off the keychain with the rest of them. All the rest of them, they were selling like Vincent and Sephiroth were like 25 bucks, but Tifa was only 10. I was like, I'm not gonna complain. So yeah, I don't know why, but I was so excited to see that again. All right, here is the purchase, which I guess is considered my biggest or most expensive purchase. I don't know. I really tried to, buy more of things, but spend less money. So I didn't have like a, big giant purchase. I had a bunch of little purchases, which is what I usually do. I'm more of a quantity and quality meets, quantity meets quality. Let's just say that. So I picked up a game that I've been searching for the box forever, which is Double Dragon 2. Now this is my copy that I've had forever, and this is the manual that I've also had forever. Again, similar situation as the Cybernator one. I've had the games for so long, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and get this. Why not? I'm just gonna see if I can hunt down a box. So I was looking and looking and looking, trying to find a box. Could not find a box only for Double Dragon 2, but I did find a lot of complete in-box copies, and the prices were all over the place. 60, 70, 75. I didn't see anything cheaper than 60. So I found this one at the in-house Retro Games Plus store. That was, the booth that was there. Which they're the store that kind of like supports or, puts on the show, so to speak. So, Double Dragon 2 The Revenge, 60 bucks is a lot to ask for a box only. So I was like, listen, I see this game pretty often in your store. It just sits there. Is there any way you'd be willing to just give me the box? He's like, yeah. He's like, we'll sell you just the box. I'm like, cool. So I'm thinking 25 bucks, right? He's thinking, I think he said 40. And I'm like, I could just buy it complete in box and then sell the game, and I would make the money back. I could sell the game and the manual and make the money back, pretty much. Like, if I sell them for 15, I would have made that money back. But I was like, you know what? Can you do lower? Like, I was thinking 25. He's like, all right, how about 35? I'm like, you know what? That's the cheapest that I'm gonna go. So 35 bucks for just the box. The stickers, for whatever reason, like normally they use the stickers that will come right off, but unfortunately they apparently they had it more expensive. It was $71.99 in the store at one point, which no way, I'm not paying that. So I was able to remove this sticker, but this one I'm gonna need to put it to the box trick, which I talked about in the noob repair video. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just, yeah, again, I'm really happy that I can complete the game. Here's the other thing though. So in the game, he starts taking it all apart, and he's like, "Do you need the manual?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Do you want the poster?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm down to get the poster. So I open it up and it's all crinkled and messed up, but it's in pretty good shape otherwise. Like the colors are nice and vibrant. It looks really cool. So I'm like, you know what? I could probably fix that. Sure, I'll take that too. It's all kind of mangled here. But in my mind, I'm like, if I can get another poster, that'd be cool. But where am I gonna find another poster for this? Well, guess what? I did find the other poster. I found it at another booth that was selling stuff. They had the poster, which now that I look at it here, it's got some residue, some tape residue, and it's got a piece of tape over it. But it's in better shape, but the colors aren't as vibrant and it's a little less crisp. But the thing is, I wasn't gonna buy it, but they also had another poster that I really wanted, so that I still need to buy a box and manual for this game, but this is a very underrated game that my buddy Square Painter suggested that I pick up, and it's really cool. It's for the Super NES, Harley's Humongous Adventure. Go see if you can check it out. I'd love to do a review on it sometime. Maybe I will in the coming year, maybe. But yeah, so both of these together were, let me think. They were 2 for $5, he said. That's what it was. It was 2 for $5. So I'm gonna hold on to this poster, and I'll probably just like bring it into my local store and be like, hey, do you want this? Like, you know, if anybody needs a poster for Double Dragon 2, let me know. But yeah, so I've got those 2 posters, and the cool thing is that I was looking for 2 games that I've been just casually game hunting for, and I found both of them at 2 different booths, and I got them both for $12 each. So this one was $15 and this one was $18, so I got a pretty significant discount on both of these. Crash of the Titans and Crash Mind Over Mutant on the Wii, and they are both complete. I've really been in a Crash mood lately for Crash Bandicoot, and so this was just a really cool pickup to grab. I thought this was pretty dope, really cool. So I'm excited to play these. The final thing that I wanted to share with everyone is I got stickers and pins. Yeah, stickers and pins. Now, I've never really been like a stickers or pins guy. I'll buy some stickers, you know, and put them on my laptop, or, you know, I'll put them somewhere specific. But I saw some stickers. Here's the stickers from an artist known as Kevin Hinkle, KevinAHinkle.com, and it was cool. He gives you 15% off orders if you order online with the card. So he gave me some stickers, or I bought some stickers off of him. One of which was Diddy Kong, which was $1. The other, and he draws these, like he redraws them. And this is Donkey Kong, and this is the one that I was like, oh yeah, my girl Dixie Kong. So with the rare symbol too, with the R symbol for her hat. So just these right here were, the 2 were $4 each. Or I'm sorry, $5 each, and then the Diddy Kong one was $1. So I just, those were just super cute. I thought they were really neat, and I don't know where I'm gonna put them. I might wait until I replace my laptop to actually put them on there. I don't know when I'm gonna replace my laptop, but I think I might do that. And then the other cool thing was pins. I was looking around and I saw a bunch of cool pins at this convention, and I had already had a bunch of pins. You know, I had a Castlevania pin. I had this Rush pin from a buddy of mine got married, and he gave me this Rush pin. And this is one of the Parappa pins that I got from Parappa, from the artist who drew Parappa. He had pins for sale, so I got one of those when I saw him at Empire Game Expo when I hosted his panel. But this one is my favorite. It's so cool. Whoa! A little bit of Crash Bandicoot, and it's a little shimmery too. My buddy Brian was selling those pins, and then my other buddy Ryan was selling Spider-Man pins, and he had Spider-Man 2099. I was like, I'm buying this just to support you for the fact that you picked one of my favorite Spider-Mans. So I love me some Spider-Man, but I also love me some Spider-Man 2099. So that's it. Those were my pickups for the Expo. For those, by the way, the pin I got, the wall pin was $5. The other pin I think was, I want to say 13. I think 13, and that was from Tom Ryan. Tom Ryan Studios, I think is his website. So that's it. I had a really great time, and it was so great to get back and do panels and to see a bunch of people that I just haven't seen in a couple years. It was just a lot of fun, and I had a really great time. We had a great turnout at Russ's panel, Russ and mine's panel for the retro repair. So it's just awesome. Really cool to get back to cons, and I'm looking forward to next year in 2022. So what about you? Did you go to Retro World Expo? What did you get? Let me know down in the comments down below. Did you go to too many games? Are you done with conventions this year? Are you going to MagFest next year? Let me know down in the comments below. I know this was very long-winded. Thanks for sticking to it until the end, and we'll see you next time.